Wow, understanding climate trend is no longer an option, it is a necessity. That is why in this project, we have built an interactive Tableau dashboard to track key climate indicators, visualize extreme weather events, and analyze their economic and infrastructural impact. This dashboard brings scattered climate data into one centralized system, making it easier for researchers and the public to monitor trends, identify risk, and make data-driven decisions, with the possibility to view the percentage difference between current and previous months. In this step-by-step tutorial, we will start by understanding the scenario and business problem, then use AI ChatGPT to generate a structured dataset with a detailed document explaining each column for clarity. You will learn how to download and install Tableau Public. And to help you complete the dashboard faster, I have provided pre-written calculated field formulas, so you just have to copy and paste. Finally, we will publish the dashboard online, making it accessible via a shareable link. I truly appreciate every subscription, comment, and like. They mean the world to me. Please share in the comments what you enjoyed most or what could be improved about this project so I can tailor future videos to better meet your needs. You have full access to use this project for your portfolio. But if you are unable to follow along or simply want to save time, I offer complete real-world data analytic project files that you can instantly download and use to showcase your skills. I also create custom portfolio websites designed to impress employers and help you stand out in the job market. If you need guidance on your data analytic journey, I provide one-on-one mentorship to help you land your dream job. And for businesses or team needing data analytic expertise, I am open to collaborations, whether it is completing your project, consulting, or joining forces to bring data-driven solutions to life. While my website is still in progress, feel free to reach out via WhatsApp or email. Details in the description. Let's work together to take your career or business to the next level. Thank you very much, and let's get started. Here is our scenario. A global research institution is monitoring the impacts of climate change across multiple regions. They need a centralized interactive dashboard to track key climate indicators, visualize extreme weather events, and assess their economic and infrastructural impacts in a real time. So for that, the business problems are: 1. Tracking climate trends. 2. Generating actionable insights. 3. Accessing climate risks visually. To solve these issues, we will develop a fully interactive Tableau dashboard that provides real-time insights, helping researchers and policymakers quickly identify and trends at a glance. Okay, so you can read this and go through at your own pace. So here, please, if you don't have ChatGPT, you can use any AI tool. And also, I will put the data set in the description. But I'm just showing you how I managed to get the data set. Since we understand the business problem, we are now asking ChatGPT to generate the CSV files for us, right? So here is the output. So now I can just click on it, and then I have my CSV file. Let me highlight everything and make it a table. So you can see the information inside the data. But if maybe there's something that we need to change, we can go back to ChatGPT and ask him that, please, for instance, include maybe mistakes so that I can work on data cleaning, or maybe include the cities, because only the countries alone sometimes is not enough. So I'm asking ChatGPT to include the cities, include certain things. So based on my investigation, I try to get to know what it is, that what are the key metrics that we should see in the data set to actually solve the problem, right? So, by the way, I'm not paying anything. This is a free ChatGPT. I mean, this ChatGPT, this version I'm using is free. You don't need to pay for that. The reason why I'm using ChatGPT is because if you go to websites like Kaggle, the data set you will get, you can actually modify it the way you want. But with ChatGPT, you can modify it the way you want. So, this, for instance, looks good. So, it is having some empty values that will help us work on the data cleaning. It is having the cities. Yeah, so I will do this, and then this is how you can also generate your own data set. I hope it is clear, please. So it's the same for all the 7 countries we are going to use. This is how I always generate data set for my project. So this file helps you to understand each column of the data set. Please, it is also in the description. Go through at your own pace to understand the data set. So the first thing is to download Tableau Public, which is completely free. You just have to write public.tableau.com, which is in the description. So once here, you can't actually download the app without inputting your details, right? So let's put your own detail. So it doesn't matter, they won't verify your information. So you can just put anything. Same for the email address, the role, and the country. You can put any role or any country. All right, I'm going to press download the app. Now, depending on your computer, you will select Apple, Windows, or Mac. So I say Apple, sorry, Mac. So I'm going to select window because I'm actually using a window. So the downloading has started. I'm going to stop mine because I've already downloaded the app. So once yours is completed, you will see the icon on your local machine. You double click on it, and then you can tick the 2 boxes to accept that you have read the terms, and then you click on install. Me, I won't click on install because I've already installed the app, right? So once you have installed the app, you can search for it. You just write Tableau, you will see the icon. So over here we can see Tableau icon. Let's open it. So this is the interface of Tableau. So as you can see, we are using the Tableau Public, which is free. So when you go to more, we don't have the list of all the databases because we are using the free version. Otherwise, we can use Microsoft Excel, this one, to actually import the Excel files. So our our data set cannot be seen here because it is stored as CSV, and CSV files can be opened on text file. So let's bring our table, climate change data. Now over here, this is the first interface you see once you brought in your data. So you can see the different things, like this is your table. You can see all the columns here. You are seeing only the 100, the first 100. Over here you can change the data type. You can do a lot of data cleaning here, but since we have already cleaned our data in SQL, we won't do any data cleaning again. So that is the data source. If we click on the sheet 1, which is going to be the first sheet we are creating, this is it. So here you have the list of the columns. The first one are the categorical columns, country, cities, date, and the next batch are the numerical columns. Okay, so we have the column and the rows here. You have the show me, so you can select the chart that you want over here. So here you will see the dashboard appearing. These are the different sheets we use to create the dashboard, but it's not yet the dashboard. You can see here is rather the dashboard, right? So this is the first thing we want to do. So what we do here is that you create chart in the worksheet, and then once you are done with the chart and everything, you now bring them to the dashboard. It's like Excel. We use pivot table to get all what we want, and then we import it into the dashboard. So let's bring the extreme weather event. So when I put it here, to remove, you can just drag it here, or you right click. So I can also go and create a calculated field, right? A calculated field is more or less like you are creating something like, instead of getting the average by Tableau, you can create like a column that will bring the average, right? So let's take for instance the count of extreme weather events, EWE. So let's put as calculated field that if the extreme weather event is everything except none. Let's remember, the known is when there was no extreme weather event that happened during that day. So we should then put 1, else it put 0. So if the value is different from 0, from none, it counts it as 1. If it is not, it counts it as 0, right? So you see, I end the calculation with end. You can put the end here, or you can come and put end here to make it look appealing, right? So and then I just click on OK. So we have our calculated field here, which is highlighted in green. So I put it on the text and now see the sum of the extreme weather event, right? So if I put the date on the rows like this, so you drag it and you drop it on the rows, you can see the number of extreme weather events based on the year. So year is by default. You can get the quarter, the month. You can select over here, you right click or you click on the arrow to select the month. Or what you can do, you see this plus, you just click it, it will move from year to quarter. If you click on the quarter, it move from quarter to month. Okay, so you can just drag it, you drop it here to remove, or you can right click, you click on remove. So this is the number of extreme weather events per month, right? Okay, let's create another calculated field. So we are going to create the current month extreme weather events, meaning what? Reading this month, you want to get the option for the client or manager or whoever is going to use the dashboard to select based on a specific month. So if we are in this month, he has to get the option to select based on that month. So the calculated field is actually the current month of extreme weather events. So what we do is that if the date name is equal to months, please put months in minimal letter, right? So and then it should extract the month from where? From the date. Remember that you have a column called date. So how should it put it? Let's assume that if the person selected December, we will change it later. So let's assume that if the person has selected the date as December, then what happened? So after the then, I go to a new line to make the calculated field to look appealing and also to make it simple for other data professional to understand what the calculated field is doing. So if the current month of extreme weather event was selected as December, it should count all the extreme weather events. You see, I put it in bracket because it is already so if a calculated field we have created, which is the count of extreme weather events, and then it can stop with end. So if we get an error, so you just click on the error here to read what the error is. So when we look at what the error is, you can see that I forgot the comma after the month. Now you see the calculation is valid. So this is a new calculated field. So you see, if I put it here like this, you see the calculation is still valid. If I put it like this, the calculation is still valid. So just put it the way you want. Just make sure that if someone goes through it, he can understand what it actually does. So I will drag it and drop it here on the current month, on the count. So you can see now the value has come. In the column current month, the value has come, but we need an option to select the month, right? So you can come right there at the downside here, you right click, you go to create parameter. You can either do that, or you can come here, instead of calculated field, you go to create a parameter. So the parameter is going to be like a kind of filter, right? So now we want it to have as name select month. So if we put, for instance, integer, right, like the data type, and we want the list that the person can just select, if we bring here, you can see the count of extreme weather, the current month, right? But it is just showing 0 1, so it is showing the month as 0 1, which is, we don't want that, right? So how do we change it? So instead of integer, which is numeric values without decimal values, let's put the data type as string, which means letter, like one a b c d, they are letters, right? But here we can't see actually the column we want because it is a string. So we are going to make the selection automatic, manually. So the value, when the value is January, it should display January. For the display, you don't have to put, just put the value. So when the value is, you double click and then you delete the number and you put is February, it should actually write February. Same for March. So we are going to bring all the months of the year, so that the person going through can have the possibility to actually select the current month. So let's go to July, August, and December. So we are good to go. I think it's up to 12. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, we have our 12 months, right? So now what we do, the current month, what is the current value? Let's put the current value as December, since we have put there that is going to be December. We will change it later, don't worry. Let's just put that the current month is December. So this is the parameter, which is like the slicer or the filter. So here we want it to show there. So what can we do? We can click here and you click on show parameter. Now it can show the parameter or the filter. So you have all the months. If I select a month as the current month, nothing is changing. Why is it not changing? Because when we created a calculated field for the current month extreme weather event, we put December. So let's go and edit that calculated field. Now it should not be December. It should be based on the select month, right? So let's delete the December and we put our select month. When you start writing something, the Tableau will suggest the words you want to write, and you can just press tab from your keyboard and get it. Now you see, when I select a month, it automatically assign show the value in that month, right? So everything looks good. So let's drag it like this for you to see well. Okay, let's create a new calculated field. So this calculated field is going to be the previous month extreme weather event. So the whole picture is what we are trying to do. We want to give the possibility to the person using the dashboard to select based on the current month, right? So, and also we want to display the percentage difference between the current month and the previous month. Therefore, we need the value for the previous month, since we already have the value for the current month, to actually calculate the percentage difference. So now for this, we are also going to bring our date name. So inside the date column, we just want the month, right? This time I did not forget the comma after month. Okay, so how should it be? It should now, based on the selected month, what happened. Now this is going to be quite long, but let's do it. Let's do that. When the selected month is January, the previous month should be what? December, right? So when January as when the selected month is January, then what value do I put? You put December. Put it in simple quote, please. Double quote is for the columns names, the columns names, yes. So December. And then when it is the selected month is February, so we want the previous month's extreme weather events to show January. So we are going to do that all the way till we finish the 12 months, which is quite huge. But let's take our time to do that. I think it's quite important. Okay. So next is when the selected month is January, February, March. Let's move on to the value should rather show February, right? Are you getting the point? So it always the previous month shows the month before the selected month. And once again, you see how it is structured. If you don't structure it like this, like if date name, case, select month, and then you put it will still work. I am just aligning it like this so that if someone's another data professionals goes through this calculated field, let's assume you are working somewhere and then for one reason or another you leave the company, but the work you have done you are not going to live with it. So when the company hires a new data analyst or data scientist, when he will go through what you have done, he has to be able to understand easily what you have done, to easily understand what you have done. That is why we are structuring it this way. Okay, so if you want you can make it like one long line, which is weird. Okay, so let's continue. When it is the selected month is July, then June. When the selected month is August, then July. I'm very sorry if it is time consuming. For the other KPIs or bands or metrics, what we will do is that we just copy this and put it there. So we will not write it again and again and again. So let's just write it once. So for when, then all the terms that are understood by default by Tableau. So those terms you don't need to write it like capital letter. It can be minimal letter, it can be capital, it doesn't matter. Okay. So you will just notice with the color that actually Tableau understand what you wrote with its default default understanding. Like look at the way the color of when and then, you see that it is different from the other column that I write. It is because Tableau shows you that this is how I understand this. I already have a default meaning for what you are writing. Okay, we reach to the end. When the selected month is December, so the previous month should be November. Okay, so let's put the N, but we are having an error. So let's end only the case. Okay, the end is for the case, right? Not like ending the calculated field. So that was the first step. Then what do? We should put the count of extreme weather events. Okay, and then now we can end our calculated field. So the calculation is valid, right? So I think to help you, I will put this calculated field in the description so that you can, instead of been typing it and making error, I think you can just copy it and paste. So now we have our previous month. We can drag it instead of dropping it on the table. Let's just drop it here. So to see that it is here, you see a red arrow. So you see the selected month is January. The previous month became December. So you see it is changing automatically now because it is based on the selected month. Okay. So what next? Okay, now let's get the percentage difference between the previous month and the current month. So you agree with me that once we have the current month, the value of the current month and the value of the previous month, we can easily get the percentage different. So let's call it percentage different extreme weather event. So it's going to be the sum. We want it to be the sum of the current month, right? So you bring the current month, all the sum. So for Tableau is quite intelligent. So when you start writing a column, it will just suggest that column. You just need to press the tab uh, button from your keyboard. So we are going to get the sum of the current month minus the sum of the previous month, and then we divide it again by the sum of the previous month, right? For those who have maybe statistic background or mathematic background, this calculation is obvious. So to get the percentage difference between the current month and the previous month is the current month minus the previous month divided by the previous month. Okay, we got our percentage difference. So I can go to a new sheet like this. I can create a new sheet now to see what should appear in our dashboard. So what we want is actually, you see, this is the title up there. When I put EWE, like extreme weather events, it changes up there. So what we want now is the current month. We put it in the text. You drag it and you put it in the text, and then it brings the sum. We also bring the percentage difference. You see how it has come, right? Now to modify it, you click on text, go to automatic. Let's make it center, right? We center it. You can also center it here. So now to modify things, click on the three dots. So the first one, the sum of current, the EWE is actually this one, and the down one is the percentage. So you can modify each one. So let's highlight only the sum of current month. So let's bold it. We give it like maybe 24. Let's put Tableau bold. Now let's change the color to this, right? So we have changed only for the current month. If I click on apply, you see the current month now has changed. Now let's also modify the percentage difference. So for the percentage difference, we don't want it to show that, to be that present in the bar. So let's reduce, like to put it just semi bold and 10. You can see, right? So what we can do is, let's just click on OK to close, right? Let's put a title. A title is at the top. This is how we change things in Tableau. So you come here, let's give a title. Let's call it extreme weather event. So if you want the title to be down, you just copy this, you cut this, you paste it down. At the bottom, it will be at the bottom. So let's give it also semi bold, and let's give it 12, and then we put black. Okay, the title has come. So we can now click on OK. So we have our first band, but to see it well, instead of standard, let's click on entire view, right? It will be like an entire view. So this is not the dashboard we are creating, right? So for the percentage, you see the percentage, it looks so weird. So you right click on the difference, you go to format. If you are at axis, go to pan, right? Once you are here, you go to number, the first one. So we want the percentage. So just click on percentage. You see the percentage has come. You see we have two decimal places, right? So we can reduce to maybe 1 or 0. It's up to you. So for this project, let's give maybe 2. I think it's okay. You just click elsewhere and you see the percentage difference. So once again, we want to bring, okay, so let's bring our selected month, right? You right click and then you go to show parameter. It shows the parameter. Now if you select a month, everything changes automatically. So every time you go to a new sheet, you will need to show the parameter if you want to show it. So what we can do again, let's now create a new calculated column. So we want the percentage to be highlighted in red or in green. Not only in green and red, but also to see if it is a bad percentage, like if the change is positive or negative, right? So now let's write our calculated field. Let's go to percentage difference. If the percentage difference extreme weather event is greater than 0, what happened? Then, so for this, look at you, these are the arrows, right? To get them, you just go to insert, you go to symbol. There, here they are. But you won't see it like this because yours will be, by default, will be here, right? It'll be like this. So what you can do is you go to front, you put Arial, I don't know. So you drag till the end and then you will see actually the arrows. So we want just the top and down arrows. Here they are. I will also put it in the description just in case. So I'm copying the top, the arrow pointing at the top, pointing up. So I put a space after the arrow. So that means if the percentage difference is great, if the percentage different extreme weather event is greater than 0, so the arrow should show up, right? So now after showing the arrow up, it should bring the actual number, which is the percentage difference, right? So you are new in Tableau, this might sound complicated, but actually it is not. You just have to get used to talking to Tableau with terms like if, then, this thing like this, round. This is how Tableau understand what you want to do. And if you are facing challenges, just copy the calculated field. If you keep getting errors, you paste it on any AI tool like ChatGPT. You ask that where is the error from. So it will give you the error, where the error is from, and it will debug your calculated field. And most importantly, always try to learn from what ChatGPT is giving you so that next time you can do it on your own. So our calculation for the bad percentage is okay. So what do we do now? We just copy this one like this because we are going to use the same for when the percentage is good. Let's click OK. So instead of creating a new calculated field like this, you can also duplicate, but for now let's just create a new calculated field. Let's call it good percentage extreme weather events. Let's paste what the same script that we put on the bad. Now let's change the arrow. If the percentage difference is less than 0, instead of having the arrow pointing up, let's get the arrow pointing down. Okay, that is it. So let's just click on OK. So we have the good and the bad percentage. So what do? We can remove the percentage because we are going to put the good and the bad. So let's drag the bad, we put it in the text. Let's also drag the good. So you see automatically it has come because it is okay. We see what I'm talking about. You see the percentage has come with the arrow automatically. Let's go to text and we click on the three dots. Now what we do is that for the bad, let's highlight everything, both of them. Let's assign like maybe 10, and then let's put it as semi-bold, Tableau semi-bold for both of them. Now for only the bad percentage, what color do we want to give? We want to give actually a red color because it is bad. So to get the red, you can just come to more here, you select the red somewhere here. Maybe I think this one is the red. Yes, this one is the red, or this one, or orange. So this is the red, this is the color we are assigning to the bad. If I click apply, you see automatically it has assign the red color. For the good one, let's give the green. So you can also come here, you select your green. Okay, so both of them are coming, right? So you can't see the difference well. So let's remove the space between the goods and the buy. They should be in the same line, so that automatically, if it is not good, the bad should, if it's not bad, the good should show. If you leave it down, the good will show, but there will be an empty space at the top. So let's put them in the same line, so that if one condition is not met, the second one will come. So let's put our versus last month. So for the versus last month, we don't want it to actually be too present. That's why we don't bold it or something like that. Okay, let's click on okay. Now it looks good. If we select a month, you see it keeps changing automatically, which is awesome, right? So I really hope you are enjoying the video. If so, please put in the comments what it is that you really like in this project, or what it is that you think we should ameliorate for next videos, so that I can best actually meet your need. So let's call the first sheet support. You can call it the way you want, but it is just to help us to get the values. And then the next one is the extreme weather event. So we can move on to the next one. Let's create a new calculated field. Let's get the air quality index, right? So for the name of this calculated field is going to be the average air quality index. So how do we get the average of the air quality index? It is simple. You just tell Tableau, you write AVG, Tableau understands it as average. Now you open the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you put the column. So just start writing it. Tableau will suggest it, and then you press your tab. So now we have our average air quality index, which is here, right? So I can remove it, and then I can look at, if I bring the main column, you see how it is in sum automatically. If I go to measure sum, instead of the sum I put the average, I will still get the same value. You can do that, or you can create a calculated field that will automatically give you the average. It both work. But we want this calculated field so that we can call it in the other calculated field. So if I bring the year, I can select the month. So you see the average air quality index per month. Okay. So you see, for the extreme weather event, what we did next was to get the current month extreme weather event. So we are also going to do the same. We are going to get the current month air quality index. So basically, we will do this for all our bands. The bands are the key metrics that are visible at the top of the dashboard. So we will get for all of them the current month value, the previous month value, the percentage different value, the bad percentage different value, and the good percentage different value for each of the band. And the dashboard is going to have up to 5 bands. So that is why this is the most difficult part of the dashboard. You will see that when we move on to the chart, or like the line chart, the graph, and they are easy. But these bands, what makes it even difficult is because we want the percentage different, like month over month. This is why it is quite difficult. So if you are able to succeed this, you will see that the rest will be, simple. Okay. So we once again we bring our month. So we don't have a column called month, so we extract the month from the date column. And then when the month it is equal to selected months, like it's going to check what month has been selected in the selected month filter or parameter. So what happened then? It should fix the date name, right? So it should brings that month, right? And then the average of area quality index. We are good now. So this is our parameter. Let's drag it and drop it here to the average. So you can see it has come by default, it has come as sum. Let's click on the arrow, we go to measure sum, we bring as average, right? Now let's bring our parameter. So you right click, you go to show parameter, right? So now if I select the month, it is selecting the current month I'm selecting. So let me create another calculated field. What is next? After the current is what? The previous. So in this previous, I can right click and then I just duplicate this previous month uh extreme weather events. I have duplicated it. So I right click, I go to edit. So what I've done this because I don't want to write everything from scratch. So I just change the name. Now this is previous month area air quantity quality index. So instead of the count of extreme weather events, what it should rather bring is the average area, average air, right? Or we can, instead of calling that column, we can just say that it should just average the air quality index column, right? So there is a mistake where, okay. So let's copy this one top. We put it here as, let's open the bracket, this kind of bracket. I don't know the name in English, I'm sorry. So, and then we put the fixed date month here again. So what we are doing this is because this one is different. It is the average, it's not the sum, right? Okay. So we still have the error. Okay, so I forgot that parenthesis we have opened. I don't know the name of this parenthesis. Please put it in the comment so that I can learn the name of this parenthesis. I know it's not bracket, it's what? Anyway, okay, so we still have an error. So where is the error? Um, okay, sorry, I forgot the average. We have to put the average here, right? So now we are good to go. For you, since maybe most of you guys are quite new in the data field, I will put all these calculated field in the description so that you can just try to understand why we are doing that, but also just go quite faster. So instead of the sum that we get by default, let's get the average. Okay, so now when we select the current month, we get both the current and the previous month. So after the current and previous month, once again it is the percentage difference, QI. So now let's get the calculation. You remember the calculation we got for the percentage difference of extreme weather events, which is simple. We just want the percentage difference between the current and the previous uh, air quality index. So the calculation is simple. It is equal to the current month minus the previous month. And since we want the value in percentage, we divide it again by the previous month, right? Remember to put the second bracket. Simple. Okay, let's click on OK. So we have gotten our percentage difference. So let's open a new worksheet. Let's call it air quality index, right? So when you assign the title, just change the title of the sheet at the top as well. So this is our, we can also even just duplicate this one. Look at what I do. I just right click, I go to duplicate, you see. So I can even delete this one. So I've duplicated this. Now I'm going to remove the values. So and then put the current values of the air quality index. So I put the sum of the air quality. You see, by default it is coming as sum. We don't want it. Let's change it let's change it forever. So you see the current month, right click on it, you go to default properties, you go to aggregation. So it is by default in sum. Let's put in average. So what happens is that every time we are going to call this calculated field, it will appear as average by default, right? Okay. So let's also bring the percentage difference. Let's put it in the text. You see, Tableau is a drag and drop software, which is quite good. So remember, the first one is the average current month, and the second one is the percentage difference. I'm going to create one thing at the top, the title. I will call it air quality index. So I can now format it. I put the same, like the same 12, the same Tableau semi bold. Okay. So 24 Tableau bold. So remember that when you are here, so you actually format each values, right? You format the title, you format the this, you format that. So it has come again. You remember what we did last time? The percentage is different. So what you should do, you just right click on the percentage different here, and you go and change the percentage. It will come as percentage, but we don't need the percentage different actually. We just want the good and the bad percentage difference. That's why I just remove that percentage difference, right? So when to why do we do the good and the bad? We want Tableau to understand that this particular calculated field, whenever it has values, the value is automatically negative or bad. Not, I will not say negative, because in this data set, it's not because it is negative that it is good or bad. Like when you take the average temperature, the temperature can vary a little and it is not bad, right? So we just assign, we in our calculated field, we make it clear to Tableau that okay, the bad one are going to be this. For instance, the bad percentage for this air quality index is when the air quality index is greater than 0. So when you see the air quality increasing, like you see the number, that means it is very bad. So what happened then? So then you put the percentage difference. No, it's not working. So I think okay. So let's bring our arrows. So let's bring the top arrow to show that the percentage is up, is high, is greater than 0. So and then after the arrow, I put a space so that it is not too close with the actual number, right? And then I round it around the value of the percentage difference. Eh, So here I have to put my calculation, right? It's going to do it times 100, and it can add two decimals values. So then what else? It should actually brings the percentage symbol, right? Once again, I'm sorry for the English teachers watching this video. My first language is French, and the second language is my mother tongue. English is my third language. So sorry if I break your English. Okay. So so when you see me putting the slash, the two slash, is to show that to Tableau that don't actually consider what I'm writing. So I'm putting it for you to actually understand. When it is like this, that means it is increased, and the increase is bad, right? And it should show the down arrow when all this is met, right? So if the percentage different like this is down, so it should actually put the decrease is actually also bad, right? So yeah. So I'm going to end my calculation field. So now that is the if. Now else, like you see that the first condition has been put. The second condition, it should not put anything, right? So what does it mean? If this condition is not met, that it is greater than zero, right? Like this, it should not put any output, because I'm going to put the other output for when the percentage is good. I hope you get the point. So we get the calculated field for the bad one, so we only show when it is considered as bad, and also it will only show when it is considered as good for the other calculated field. So what we can do, we still get an error. So where is the error from? um Guys, help. Okay. No, yes. No, no, actually, let's put 0.03, right? Uh, Okay, let's put 0.03, and so let me modify it. Sorry, I was I got lost. If the percentage difference. So the structure I'm doing is not because if I don't put this structure, Tableau will give me an error. It is just that I want it to be as simple as possible for people to understand when they go through the calculated field. So I think now we are good to go for the bad. Sorry, for the bad percentage difference of the air quality indexed. So we are good to go. I can just click on OK. So I have the bad percentage. If I drag it, I can go and duplicate it, right? So I want to duplicate, means it just give me the same thing twice, but now I change the name. Instead of bad percentage, I'm putting good. So now what do we change to get the good? So for the bad one, we say that when the percentage difference is greater or equal to 3%, we consider it as bad, right? Now for the good one, we are saying that if the percentage difference is less than 0.03, which is 3%, so it should be good, right? So if you see the percentage difference less than 3%, the value is good. If it is greater or equal to 3%, it is considered as bad. So why am I putting 0.3? It is just an example like this, guys. So each company will determine. You see here there is a space when it is bad. The space is because between the bad and the good, I put it in a space. So let me highlight the two. I'm going to put the same 10 and semi-bold. Tableau semi-bold, where is it? Okay. So now for the bad one, I'm going to give the red color, and the good one the green color. So I'm going to remove the space between the two. You have just seen the space. So now the space has removed. So I'm going to put my versus last month. So the versus last month should not actually occupy a big space, because the information is less important than the rest. Okay, so now we have our second band, which is actually the air quality index, right? It looks good, right, guys? So I was saying that I put 3% because of I decided to put 3%. A company can say that the percentage difference is bad when it is more than 10%. So you just put more than 10%, or more than just 1%, it is bad. So may I put 3%, right? Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. So I just duplicate this. So let's create a calculated field, which is going to be the precipitation. So let's get the calculated field for the average precipitation intensity. So let's just put average and then you call our precipitation column. Okay, so that is it. It is the average. So you can see the average here. So let's go to a new sheet. So I put the average in the text. You can see the average percentage precipitation. Once again, I'm showing you that if you put the column of precipitation, it will come as default sum. So you just have to go and to the measure, what is it, the measures, and then you put it as average, right? So you can do this, or you can actually bring your calculated field. Okay, so what again, so let me bring the date. You can see the dates. By default it come as year. Me, I want the month. So if you also want to get the month, the year over year, you can get, but me, I decided to go for the month over month so that we can actually track monthly. Okay, so the current precipitation intensity is just, we want to extract the month from, please put month in minimal letter, else you will get an error, because this is how SQL sorry, Tableau actually understand it. So it extract the month from the date, and then what month should it extract? It should be based on the selected month. So okay, once it has extracted that selected month, what happened? Then what you should do is you put that bracket, that bracket that I don't know the name. Please help me in the comment for this name. You put that bracket, and we want the date month to be fixed. It should not change. It should be that exact date month, right? Okay. So what is next? Let's now bring the average of the precipitation. The average precipitation. Okay. Well, let's close our unknown bracket. Unknown bracket. Okay, let's end this calculated field. So we are good to go to have the current precipitation intensity. So what we do next, let's please show the parameter or the filter. And, if you put the current month, you will see the value here, and by default it comes as sum. So what is wrong? um let's get the average. Okay, let's get the average. So now if I select the month, it's going to show me the average of that current month, which is what we want. So after the current month, what we usually do is the previous month. Well done. So I can just right click on one and then I duplicate. So and then I right click and go to edit to actually edit that calculated field. It is assigned the term copy to show that it is a duplicate one. So I will just change it to previous month precipitation intensity. So what do I change here? Instead of having the air quality, I want the precipitation, right? I want everything to be the same, the average of precipitation, and we are good to go. Okay, so if I put um I'm sorry, my computer is about to go off. That's why I'm okay. So if I so let's do that again. Current month precipitation. Um, yes, this is the average precipitation intensity. This is what I was looking for. We have the average, and then we have the current month. So I think the error was because it was not actually our. So what's wrong? What's wrong? Let's start over. Let me calm down because I'm trying to plug my computer at the same time. Let me get the average precipitation, and then I want the date as year, right? Instead of the year, I want the month. So let me drag the current month precipitation. So what's going on? Guys, can you see what is wrong? Even the previous is not showing. So guys, please, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Um, please, I need the help. I need help. Help! What is going on? Okay, what we can do? Okay, you know what? Let's go to a new worksheet. Maybe that worksheet was overwhelmed. I don't know. Does it happen with Excel? Probably. So let's bring our average precipitation. I'm sure it's going to work now. So we want the month, right? So let's get the average precipitation by month. Let's bring the current month precipitation. It is coming normally, but it is coming as sum. Let's go to measure and put it average, right? So let's also bring the previous month. You see, it is working well. It's like that. For the previous month, you can just put it here like this. Instead of the sum, you also want the average. So it's like that worksheet was overwhelmed. So maybe it was working from your end. I don't know. So let's show the parameter. So when you filter it, it filters automatically, right? So once we have the current month with the previous month, the next thing is the percentage difference, right? Okay. So what is actually the formula? So if hey, I've not even created the percentage. What was I doing? So let's get the first one is always the percentage different. I'm sorry guys. It's like I'm getting tired. This project is 4 hours and 4.5 hours, which is quite long. So yes, the percentage difference is actually just the calculation, right? The same calculation we have been doing over and over again. To get the percentage difference is just the current month minus the previous month. We get the result. But since we want it in percentage, we divide it by the previous month again. So let's get the average current month precipitation intensity minus the average previous month's precipitation intensity divided by, please make sure that you put the quote, you put the second quote, we divided by the previous month again, and we are good to go for our percentage. Okay, so let me just click on okay. Have the percentage. So I can actually go and duplicate one sheet. Let me even delete this sheet. I can even delete all of them. So now what I want is I've duplicated this one, right? So I'm just now going to bring our good what we want, which is the current month. By default, it come by sum. So please always let's do this. So by default, you right click, you go to default properties, you go to aggregation and you put as average so that every time we call this calculated field, it by default comes as average, right? So now we have our current month. Let's put the percentage difference, which is like this. So we can modify it. So you go to text, we go to the three dots. So let's put the title. Let's call the title Precipitation Intensity. Now let's format it. So please, for the formatting, it is good to remain constant. So we have been assigning the same color, the same format, the same everything for each of the bands. Okay. And no, there's a mistake. So I rather put the percentage different at the top and then the current month precipitation down. So please let me cut it. Let me change the format. It is rather like this, right? So I will cut it and then paste it down because I want it to be the last value. So now the current month is actually at the middle. So let's give it semi bold as well. So for the current month, so let's give the same formatting we have been giving, assigning to the rest of the bands. So now we are good to go. And you see the percentage different. If you just want to see the percentage different like this, you can right click on percentage different. You go to format. Make sure you are on pan. You go to number. You just click on percentage and then it will come. Right. Let's close this one to see our columns. So, but we don't actually need a percentage. We want a good and bad percentage. Okay. So you can also go to format. You can also format this current month. If you are on axis, go to pan. You go to the number. You see it is two decimals values, right? You go to number. These are the decimals values. You can reduce it as to 1 or you can completely remove it. So now for the precipitation, we have the prefix and the suffix. For the suffix, I want it to be in millimeter. You see there is no space. I can add the space and then we have the millimeter. Okay. So that is it. It helps to put the viewers in the context, right? So let's create a new calculated field now to get the bad and good percentage difference. So I'm going to extract the months again, but before I'm saying that if the percentage different precipitation intensity, if it is less or equal to, let's put maybe minus 0.2%. So once again, when you work in a company, the client or the manager will tell you what percentage should be considered as bad change. Because when it comes to the weather, a change is not necessarily bad. So it depends. Some people will consider a change of maybe 2% to be good or bad or something like that. So for this project, I am just going to put if the percentage difference is less or equal to 2% or the percentage difference is greater or equal to 2%. So they are all bad. Do you get the point? So if it is greater or equal to 2%, it is bad. If it is also less or equal to 2%, it is also bad, right? It should always be, in between the normal temperature. But from I've done a lot of digging and I've noticed that for most people they use 10% actually. But for our data set, let's use 2%. So if maybe a climate scientist is watching this project, I'm sorry if maybe I don't follow your rules. But definitely, as I said, there's not a fixed rule. Each company defines what he considers as good or bad percentage. So and then what happened? It should bring the arrow pointing at the top. Okay. So and put the percentage difference and of course multiplied by 100 and align two decimals values. So what again? So yeah, we are going to add now the percentage symbol, right? So Now else, what should we do? So remember that this else is for the small if, it's not for the big if, right? If the percentage difference is greater than 0, it should bring the arrow up. If the percentage difference is less, is the contrary, else if it is not greater than 0, it should be something else which is less than 0, right? So it should rather bring the arrow down. So and then it should end that if and else statement. But now I'm going to write the else of the first if. So if that condition is not met, please don't put anything. I put two quotes, double quotes. I leave it empty to say that, okay, leave it empty. Why am I leaving it empty? Because what the value that should bring, I want it to be another calculated field, right? Which is the good percentage. So let me duplicate this and go to edit. Here, I'm just going to rename it. So instead of bad percentage, I'm going to put it as good percentage precipitation intensity. Now you remember what we put. We said if it is less or equal to minus 2%. Now what we are going to say is that if it is greater than 2%, or if it is less than 2%. Remember that you see the order. I started with a minus 0.2. Please also start like this. If you put the contrary, you will get an error. Okay, so it should actually be exactly the way I put it. So now let's put our percentage difference, the bad and good. Oh, both are showing. um yeah, so if both are showing, that means the calculated field was not actually correct. So let's go to good percentage. um yes, sorry, let's put equal or greater or equals to, right? But it is not changing. um Guys, help, somebody help me. um so what can we do? You see, when it is actually negative, yeah, maybe let me check the bad index, right? The bad percentage, sorry. Oh, let me even, okay, let me check the bad percentage. So probably there's a problem with the calculation because it is bringing the two values. So I think what we can rather do is no, no, okay, I think I know where the problem is. So you see the bad percentage, it is or, and the good percentage should be and. You see, even for the bad percentage, I put or. Please, it should be and for the good percentage. Guys, this is what is causing this problem. You see, when I apply now, it is fine. Okay. So you see, there's a space here. It is because you can see once again, it is one one on top of the other. So let me give it 10 and put it semi bold. And then for the bad percentage, I want to assign the red color, and then the green, I assign the green color. Okay, I will apply. Right now, to remove the space, let's just remove the space like this. If you apply, you see the space has disappeared. So let's put our versus last month. So for the versus last month, we always put it Tableau medium, right? Let's click on OK. So we are good to go for the precipitation intensity. Okay. So we have our air quality ready, the extreme weather events ready, and the precipitation. I'm sorry if it takes time like this. This is the most difficult part of this dashboard. If we didn't want to show the month over month, it wouldn't have last long like this. Because we want to show that value, which is quite important for managers or clients, let's accept to, let's exercise patience. Okay, so we are going to now get the temperature, the average temperature, right? So we are going to do the same thing that we have done for the three other bands, which is getting the average temperature, one, getting the current month, two, a second, one, two, yeah, one, two, getting the previous month's percentage, three, getting the percentage different, four, getting the bad and good percentage different, five. So it was giving me an error because the name temperature was already assigned to the column. That's why I had to add average. So if I put it on the text, I can get the average temperature, right? So when I put the date, by default it comes as year, and then I want it to show as month. So this is the average temperature month over month. So you see, if I bring the column temperature, yes, it comes with as the sum. You can click on the arrow, you go to average, and you still get the average, but I don't want. I've already created like a kind of column that we call calculated field that already shows only the average percentage, right? So now let's create the calculated field for the current month average temperature. All right, so for the formula, I don't know, do we call it formula? Okay, so for the formula, let's call it, let's of course once again we extract the month from the date column, right? So why are we extracting? If we had a column called month, we could have just called the month column, but we put the date name because we want to call only the month from the date table. So once we have the month, what month should it put actually? It should be based on the selected month, which is our parameter or filter. So then what's happened once it has selected that month from the filter? So it should put that month like this, the same month that it has selected. It should actually bring it. That's why we put the fixed date name, right? So it is bringing that very name. So once it is done, what we want is actually the average temperature, right? We want the average temperature. Now let's close the unknown parenthesis. So at the end, okay, so let's end it. So let's click on OK. Now we have our current month temperature. So we can actually drag it and drop it here to show me. Okay, it by default come as sum. Let's bring it as average. Okay, so now let's show the parameter. If I select a month, you can see it automatically move to that month, which is what we want. So as usual, after the current month, what is next? Previous month. Yeah, 100%. So we can just right click and we duplicate any previous month. So let's duplicate this precipitation intensity. So let's rename it. We give it the name as previous month. Instead of precipitation intensity, we are going to call it average temperature or temperature. Okay, so for the last thing, we don't want the average precipitation, we want the average temperature, right? Okay, we can just click on OK. So we have the previous month, we can drag it here and you can see the value. Because it is the sum, it stop rounding. So let's put it as average, so we round the value. So now everything looks good. Okay, so let's create a new calculated field. We have the current month and the previous month of the average temperature. We can, with both two columns, we can get the percentage difference temperature. So once again, the percentage difference is just the average current month temperature minus the average previous month temperature. Since we want it in percentage, we divide it by the previous month average temperatures again. Make sure that you don't put the double quote at the end of the of there, please, else we get an error. Okay, so we have the percentage. We can go to a new sheet. Let's just duplicate this. Okay, so let's remove all the values we have put, and let's bring our current month temperature. Okay, the current month average temperature. So by default, yes, let's assign by default, it should show as average. Okay, so we have the average temperature for the selected month, which is actually February. So let's also bring the percentage difference. You can see the percentage difference, right? So to see the percentage difference well, you just click on the arrow or you right click, you go to pan or pin or pan or whatever, you go to number and then you click on percentage and we are good to go. So to format this, go to text, you go to the three dots, and then let's add the title at the top of the bar. So let's call this temperature, right? This is the temperature. Let's give semi-bold and 12. So for the current month, as usual, we are going to give it 24. We are going to give it Tableau bold, and we are going to assign this color. For the percentage, we can put just 10 and semi-bold. Okay, everything is good. So we can now go on and get our bad and good percentage difference. But I will add this degree Celsius. So if you can get it from your keyboard, it is fine. Me, I can. So I will right click on the current month. I go to format. I go to pan. I go to number. I go to the number custom. You see the two represent the decimal values. The prefix is before the number and the suffix is after the number. So after the number, I add this. Let me include a space. Okay. You see, it actually helps viewers to, at a glance, understand what this value is when they see the degree Celsius. So now let's bring our calculated field for the BAT percentage. So it's going to be the same. But before I continue, I wanted to actually congratulate you guys. If you are watching the video at this point, that means you are really interested in data analytics, which is awesome, you know. And I will always be there to help. So if you are facing challenges that you have tried using an AI like ChatGPT, but the error is still coming, please let me know. I'll be, grateful and be glad to help you out. And also, if you see that maybe the time you complete many projects, it's going to, take time, or you don't really have time. So I've already completed such projects like this. I can just send you the final document so that you can just put them in your portfolio. And if you want to even go further, I can even create your own website portfolio using either Google site or CAD, you know. And then you will just send me some details like your CV, like this and that. I will add it alongside with all the projects that I think are actually highlighting your skills, problem solving, the impact you can bring to a company, to actually stand out from the crowd. Because if you go to LinkedIn now and you apply for jobs, man, it's quite difficult. Despite your background, it's quite difficult. But when you can prove to the manager or the client or whoever is hiring you that look at what I've done in the past and I can do the same for your company. Even if you don't have degrees, he will think that hey, this guy can do the job, right? And then you can go to the interview and eventually land the job. But if it is like the kind of company that is like maybe the HR has already predefined that okay, for this data analysis position, we just want someone with a master's degree in maybe data science. So even if the person has a very bad portfolio, he will get the job, man. But if it is the kind of position that they really need someone who has the skills, your portfolio is really everything you need, man. Because an employer will be telling you things like, wow, in your portfolio, I've seen you have completed this project. It was about this. We also have the same issue here. Can you also, you enjoy, even when you talk about it in your interview, that, okay, when I was completing a project, I've done this, I've done that. You sound more confident and more professional. So now for the average temperature, let's get back to work. So we want if it is greater or equal to 3%, it is bad. If it is also less or equal to 3%, it is minus 3%, it is also bad, right? So let's duplicate this and let's change the name to good percentage. So for the bad one, we said that when it is the temperature is greater or equal to 3% or less than or equal to minus 3%, it is bad. For this one, when it is greater, only greater and less than, it is good. Please put an, not or, right? So, okay, we are good to go. So I can remove the percentage difference and put the bad and good ones. Yeah, there's it. So you see the value is less than, it is greater than minus 3%. That is why it is pointing. Anyway, you see it. So when we use the filter, it's actually filter. What? There are some values that are not showing. Um. Okay, guys, help, help! Somebody help me! Somebody help me! Okay, no one is there to help me. So let me edit the good percentage. Okay, actually the problem is because it should start with minus and then it is the positive value. Just do this, you will see how it will change. You see the value has come. So please, it is very important the order you put, right? We had to start it with minus before moving to the plus one. So let's give it semi-bold. So we assign the red color for the bad percentage and the green color for the good percentage. You can see the space, right? Let's remove that space. Okay. And then now we can click on OK. So you see, if I select a month, you can see every time the difference will be greater or less than less than 3%, it will be considered as bad. So red. Every time it be in between that range, that normal range, it will be considered as good. So what we see here is that it's not because the temperature increases or decreases that it is bad. It is actually depending on what is the percentage of increasement or decreasement. Do we say decreasement? Guys, please visit my friend channel. I'm more comfortable there. And yeah, it's true. I studied in English for my bachelor's degree, but there are still some terms that are quite, hard. But I mean, maybe I'm not just used to them. So let's move on to the next band. So which is the temperature variability, right? So what varies between the temperatures, right? So we want this what do we call standard deviation, right? So okay, so what does it mean? So if I put it here on the text, you can see the percentage variability. If I also come to temperature, I put it on the text and I go to measures, I put the standard di standard what? Standard what? So when it is like this, it means that it is just a sample. If you put standard uh, with the pop, which means population, it is when you are using the entire data set. That means it is giving you all the variability. But now since our data set is just having some small ones, so we are just going to use the simple standard deviation. So let's get the current month. This is actually the last band, right? So after that, you will see how things will go very fast. So once again, we extract the month column from the column called date, because we do have a column date in our data set. So what should it extract? What month should it bring? It should be based on the select month. So and then okay, we have selected the month. So what do we do? You should bring that very same month, right? So that is why we bring again our date name, month, date. Okay. So we are going to put our uh, mm, let's bring the standard deviation. I don't even know the name of that double dot. Semicolon and column. No. What's the name? I know the other one is semicolons, but this one. Please help me in the comments. Help me to improve my English, please. So now if we go to a new sheet and we get actually only the months and we see the standard deviation between for each month. So let's bring the current month. Let's drop it here. So you can actually see the current month and by default it comes as sum. So let's put it as standard deviation. It won't work here. So let's put here as average. This is how it works. Here you should actually bring it as average. Okay. So let's show our parameter. So you see when you select a month, it automatically assign its average temperature variability. So let's go to the previous month. You can duplicate this to get our previous month for the temperature variability. Let's edit it. So at the end, we don't want it to be called to be an average again. We want it to be standard deviation, right? So let's rename it by previous month temperature variability. Let's click on OK. So we are good to go. Let's just drag and drop it here. So you can see by default it comes as sum. We want it as average. Now we are good to go. Once we have the current and the previous month's temperature variability, we can easily calculate our percentage difference. So let's create a new calculated field that we are going to call percentage difference temperature variability. All right. So for the the calculation is the same as we have been doing. So it's just the current month temperature variability minus the previous month temperature variability. Because we want the result to be in percentage, we are going to divide it into the previous month. Always remember to put the second bracket, right? Okay. So let's copy this previous month, we put it here. Okay, so we are good to go for the percentage difference. So this temperature, I can also duplicate it, and then I can name it temperature variability. Okay, so let me just remove the values. So I'm going to bring the current month temperature, right? So by default it comes as, as some. I forgot to change the default. So let's right click on, where is it? Okay, here it is. Let's right click, we go to default properties, we go to aggregation, and we assign average. Okay, there we go. And let's put our percentage difference as well. So here what we can do, we can format it and go to pan number and click on percentage. It will automatically change. Okay, so for this one as well, you can click and go to format, but we already have the format window open. So you go to number custom. So for the prefix, so prefix means what should come after the number. So we want this degree Celsius because the temperature variability is also calculated in degree Celsius. So you see the different. Let's put a space to have a space like this. Okay. Now we can go and format this, right? So let's go to text. We go to our three dots. So let's give a title. So let's call it temperature variability. Okay. Let's format it. So let's always try to be consistent. Like what we assign uh, to one band, we assign the same to the other band, right? Else there are some people who really pay attention to details, so they will see that your dashboard is not good because they'll be able to see that slight difference you are neglecting. So let's always try our best to do that. Of course, error might come, but that's why before like giving the final result of your work, you should always share it with like colleagues for them to give you feedback on them on it. So we are good to go, I think. Let me close this window. So maybe let's create a new calculated field, right? So let's put the bat and the bat percentage temperature variability. So we are going to say that if the percentage difference of temperature variability is greater or equals to 1%. Why am I putting 1%? I'm just putting it like this because I try to put maybe 3% for all, and from my data set that I generated in ChatGPT, there won't be any bad, you see, because the result will always be in between the good one if we try to put it as 10% as most people usually take. But at least 1% will get some bad, and yeah. So it's just to share that this is actually a project. It's not a real like company data or something like that. So let's get now. Let's put our condition that if the percentage difference is greater than 0, it should bring the arrow pointing at the top, right? And then after the arrow pointing at the top, it should give the percentage difference, and then it should multiply it by 100, right? And allow two decimals values, and then it should also add the percentage symbol. Okay, that is one condition. If now else, if this condition is not met, that meaning if the percentage difference temperature variability is not greater than 0, meaning that it is less than 0. Of course, you should bring this arrow down, right? So let's just put a plus here. I'm sorry. So let's copy this and we put it there as well. Uh, Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Okay, so let's end these small conditions. Now let's move on to the bigger condition. We have our if. Else, if this condition is not met, please don't show anything. And then we end our calculated field. Okay. So if I now right click, I go to edit. Wait. What? Okay, I forgot to duplicate. Sorry. So after we have duplicated, we can go to edit, right? Let's now change the name. Instead of bad percentage, we are going to give good percentage. So now the difference is that it's not greater or equal to 1%. It's just less than 1%, and that is it. We are good to go. So let me remove the percentage difference and put the bad percentage difference and the good percentage difference in the text. Nothing is showing because it is actually good, right? So we now have our good and bad percentage difference. So we can go to text, three dots, and then we change it. So let's give all of them 10 and semi-bold, Tableau semi-bold. Let's scroll down and look for Tableau semi-bold. Okay. So for the bad one, let's assign the red color and green color for the good one. Now, if I apply, you can see, but I have to remove the space as usual. Okay. And I can also add our versus last month. We even forgot to assign it to some of the bands. Okay. For the versus last month, it should be black. It should be Tableau medium, right? And it should be 8. Okay. Now we are good to go. If we select a month, we can see the percentage difference, whether it is good or bad. Okay. So we have all our 5 bands ready, or KPIs or metrics, right? So we can even delete this one and delete this one. So what happens is that once each band is fine, we can now go and put them in the dashboard. You see? So, oh, for this one, I forgot the versus last month. So let me add it. Versus last month. It and Tableau medium. Okay. So I can also check the rest. So let me create a new worksheet. I bring the country, right? So you can see the country here, but we have country India. What? So I think we clean this. Maybe what happened? So look at the country. You see, it is India, not India. So the problem is that if it's not well spelled, it won't show in the map, you know. So let's go back to the data set. So let's look at the country. Let's go to home. You go to filter. Let's filter only the country when it is India, right? So let's untick only, we tick only India. Let's change the first one. Let's add the I, and then once you have done that, just double click here at the edge, or you can drag it down. So now we are done. We have India as country. So everything is done. So we can just remove the filter and save it. Don't save it as XLXS like Excel worksheet. save it as CSV as well. So let's just go to data here. We go to our table here and we refreshed. So it's going to tell you that Masa is going to delete. Are you sure? You say yes. And then now India is well spelled. So let's hide this. So what happened is that whenever there are new changes in the data set, maybe you receive new data, you make the changes in Excel and you just come here and you refresh. That is it, right? So let's put something like maybe the average temperature. Let's put it in the rows, right? So now we get the average temperature by country. You can go to show more and see the various chart that Tableau suggests you use. You see the different maps. You can choose the any map you want, right? But me, I will go for this one. So you can see the various map actually in the dashboard, but we can't know which map is this. So let's put the average temperature in the label, right? The average temperature is now in the label. You can see that we have our label. Now you see the color. It is saying that this is the label here. From the top here can tell you what this is about. So let's right click, let's go to format on the average temperature, right? So you see the decimal are too much. Let's go there. When you just come here, we come back to 2 decimals. So we can put only 1 decimals for the dashboard, right? Let's add our suffix. Let's go and bring our degree Celsius here. Let's go back. So yeah, this is the degree Celsius, right? So now we can see the label is actually good. So what we can do as well, let's close this. This is the label, right? So let's also bring the country in the label, right? So you can see now the label is made up of both the average temperature and the country. So yes, let's come here to actually changes. Let's put everything at 8 and Tableau bold everything, right? We bold everything. So you see now everything is visible, right? We have the country and the average temperature, which is good. And we are done, guys. You see how it is quite simple to create that chart, guys. Yeah. So here like this, we are good to go. So let's name this sheet temperature by country. Okay. Now let's go to a new sheet. Now we are in a new worksheet. The next chart we want to see is the date. Let's put the date in the columns. You right click, you go to months because we want to see only the months, right? We can right click on this and then we hide it, right? We don't want to see it. So the next thing we want to do is to actually bring the average temperature, right? So now we have the a line chart showing the average temperature over time, right? So I think yeah, you can actually select what you want. So for me, I want an area, right? The area comes with something like something under the line chart. So I'm going to format the color, right? So the color is actually 4F008C, right? Of course, you start with dash. So that is this dark purple, that dark purple. So let's reduce the the opacity to like 10%, right? So maybe instead of 10, let's give it 15%. Okay, I think this one is okay. So now we have our line chart. Yeah. So you can right click on this one and then you go to edit, right? let's edit this axis. Let's custom. We don't want to see from 0 to 18 because it's too high. Let's just put from 15. It should start from 15 when the average temperature is from 15 till the last number, right? So let's click on OK. So now you see the graph is not that up like that, so it's fine. So you can press Control and then you drag and drop the average temperature so that you can have two like charts. The first one is this one and the last one is for this one down. Okay, these are the two places where you can format. So for the one down, let's give it a line chart. This is a line chart for the one down. And for the color, let's go to increase the opacity to 100%, right? And for the size, let's increase the size a little bit. So there's no measure here for me to tell you, but just increase it a little bit. Now for the label, let's bring our average temperature, right? We put it in the label. Please, we are on the one down, on the chart down, the down chart. Okay, for the axis, you can right click on it, you go to edit axis. So for the axis, we want it to show between the 15 to the end, right? So that it best matches our first table, right? First chart. So now let's right click up here, you go to dual axis, which is very important. It merge them together. But now you can see that the axes are different. That is why it is not matching very well. What you should do is you should right click on this axis, you go to synchronize axis. Boom, it is synchronized, right? So now everything is good. Now we can get rid of this. You can right click, you go to show header, you untick it. So we untick the axis because we have our label, right? So that is the one on down. So let's go to the label, how we want it to look like. Let's format it. Let's put it like semi bold, and let's give maybe 8. Okay, let's bold it. So we are good to go, right? So you can even go to format, right? You just right click, you go to format. The decimals values is too much. But once you click on it, it will come by default at 2 decimals values, which is what we want, right? Or you can reduce at 1 decimals value. So now for the suffix, let's include our degree Celsius, right? Which will give more context to the chart. Okay, so everything look good in my opinion. So let's call this sheet uh, monthly temperature. Monthly temperature trends. I think it is more. Yeah. So you can see if you select March, March is coming, right? So let's right click and we format this axis, right? Let's go to pan. So we go to we come here to Tableau. We give it semi bold, right? To assign here to the front. So let's assign it a black color. Even maybe let's put it at 8, right? So you see it is good, right? Yeah, it looks good in my opinion. Instead of standard, let's go to entire view. So remember, what we are doing is that we are creating everything from our worksheet. Once we are done, we now go to the dashboard. We just bring what we have already created in the dashboard, right? So I'm going to change these colors. Let's go to text. Instead of this orange, let's give it one color that I like. You come here to more. Now you type hash 1BCED8. Please do that. I like this color. Click on OK. So now it has assigned that color to this. Let's do the same for this one as well. I'm sorry if I'm taking you back like this. It's because what I usually do is that I download the data set and then I just start recording without creating the chart before, because it's time consuming. So that is why there's a lot of back and forth, because I'm actually creating it like you are seeing right now. So because if you have to create it, everything is fine before you come, and that is a lot of time. So I usually just download the data set and then I start the project. I just record my screen. So everything is okay in my opinion. So let's go to format here. We go to number. Let's go to number here. Let's put it at let's remove the decimal. The air quality index is not having decimals. If you check in the data set, you will see that the air quality index is an integer, like not having decimals values, right? So yeah, so I think we are all good. Okay, we are all good, guys. So we can move on to the next one. So maybe here, please, let's let's go to analytic, right? We were at data. Let's go to analytic. Let's take average lines. You bring it here, you make sure that it is at the 2, right? This average line is the average, but we don't just want it to show average. We want it to show average and the value, right? So let's go to the label and then we click it as value. When we click value, it shows only the value, and we want both. So let's click on custom. Now we write RBJ, like average, and then what after the average, bring the value. So there we go. For the line, let's like make it like this, okay, so that it's not like a line of the dashboard, right? You can put it the way you want, but I think this one is okay. We can give a color, right? Or what color can we give? Maybe let's give this red. So for here, I think we are good to go. So this line is showing the average temperature, right? So we can see it gives more uh, insight, more information in that chart, right? So now let's move on to the next worksheet, where we are actually going to create our third chart. So let's bring the season. Let's say we want to see it in season, right? We have all the 4 seasons. So what do we bring? So where is the extreme? Uh, oh, I don't see the extreme weather event. Um, we can go to search, but okay, there it is. Count of extreme weather event. But you can also go to search, and then when you know the name of the column, you can search it. So let's hide this one. So we have a column chart that comes automatically. So let's bring the count in the label, the count of extreme weather event. So once we have the label, we can actually hide this header, right? So just right click, you go to show header, you untick it. So let's click on the label. We click on the 3 dots to go and format it. Let's give it semi bold, we bold it, and then we give it as 8, right? So yeah, it looks good now. So for this axis, we can format it. We go to pan, we go to front, right? So let's assign this semi bold as well, and we can put it like 8. Okay, so let's name this sheet extreme weather event. I can't put EWE again because one sheet is already named like that. So yeah, so let's move on to our next. No, instead of standard, let's bring it as entire view, right? It looks more appealing. When we bring it to the dashboard, it'll be better. So we can right click, you go to format, right? Just come here on the line, this lines, grid lines. We don't want this grid line. Click on no. There's no grid line for the rows and the columns as well. This one as well. Click on no. And same for the columns. Click on none. Okay, we don't want any axis, line, grid line. Same for here, we can do the same. Let's click, we go to format. You make sure you go to the lines and then you put none. And then you come here, you put none for the rows and none for the column as well. Okay. So you can close this and maybe the count. Let's put it in the color, right? The count of extreme weather events. Let's edit it. Edit color. Let's go to more colors. So let's assign the same purple, dark purple color that we assign the one 4F008C, right? So okay. So the higher the number of extreme events, the more darker the color is, right? So I think it's true that the number is not that big. The difference is not that huge, but it's okay. So let's go to a new worksheet. Let's bring the climate zone in the rows. We want it as pie, right? Like a pie chart. Let's now drag it and drop it in the color. Let's bring it as entire view so that we can see well what we are doing. So now in the column, just double click, this will happen. And then you put average 0. Just do that. You double click and then you put average 0. So let's press Control and then you drag it and you drop it just close to it. So we divide this into two. As usual, you see the two pop-ups. So for the one down, remember for the one down, okay, let me come back for you to see. I think I made a mistake even. Okay, let me come down. Let me do that again. Once we are here, right? I'm sorry, please come back. So let's bring the count of extreme weather event to the angle, right? It will help us to actually define the angle as soon as possible. So you can see now, based on the count of extreme weather events, the angle changes. Now let's double click on the row. This pop-up will come, you write the average of 0, right? So and then you press Control and you drag it, you drop it aside. So once the two are there, let's modify the one down, right? Let's remove the sum. We have removed it. Let's also remove the climate zone. It is removed, right? So now we can come here, you right click and then you dual axis. Now it is like combined. So let's go to the first one. So let's increase the size. When we increase the size, we're going to give the empty space there, right? So let's go to size. For the one down, we also increase the size a little bit. In other software like Excel, this pie chart is quite easy, but here it's quite complicated. So let's click on the middle. We change the color to the white. Remember that that one is for the down one, the down chart. Let's go to the top chart, right? Let's bring the count of extreme weather events. We put it as the label. And I think we are all good. So let's come down here. So we come to percentage different, percentage of total. Click on percentage of total. So it's now giving you the percentage of total, right? So now let's drag our climate zone again. So let's bring it to the label. Yeah. So we have both the percentage difference, the count of extreme weather events, and the season, right? The climate zone. I'm sorry. So what we have done is that you bring the first counts of extreme weather event, and then you right click, you go, you put it as percentage total, right? It will give you the percentage. You bring the extreme weather event again in the label. It will now come as the actual value. And then now you bring the climate zone in the label so that the label can have all these informations. So let's just format it well. Okay. So I think we are good. It looks good, right? Okay. For the color, let's edit the color. Let's bring our purple color, right? So to do that, let's go to mm, let's go now. It is automatic. Let's look for a purple color, right? Since there's not a possibility to actually format it the way we want, let's just click on the purple color, right? Now for the temperate, when the climate zone is temperate, right, it should rather really give a dark purple. When it is like tropical, it should actually give a medium purple, right? And then when it is arid, what do you say, arid? Yes, it should give us a light purple. So why are we choosing these colors? Because we want to be consistent in the color we are using, right? We have started with a purple. Let's be consistent, because too many colors in one dashboard can, I mean, if you show it to a young person, they will say, wow, it is really good. But in the real world, usually the managers and clients don't actually like when it is too colorful. So let's now go and we untick the show the header, because our label is already showing everything, right? So let's go to a new sheet. We now go to let's bring our infrastructure vulnerability, right? This is it here. We put it on the rows. So let's right click, you go to measure, you put average, because we want the average of infrastructure vulnerability. So let's put the economic impact in the columns. Now we are trying to create a scatter plot, right? Because it helps us to get actually the difference. Let's bring the population in the size, right? So now how do we want it to show? By city. Let's bring the city. You can see everything is compact there. Let's add the country to the color. Okay, now the color will be based on the country, right? So if we go, instead of automatic, we say that we want it circle, right? It now gives a circle. Now for the size, now let's go to the label. Let's bring the country as the label, and we also bring the city as the label, right? So each bubble will show the country and the city as label. If I put my cursor, I can see now a lot of like many information together. So you can see almost all the data from 335 billions, right? Let's go to analytic here. Let's bring the average line. That's the same thing we did. So if you put it as sum, it will only give the average line for sum or for infrastructure. So we want it to be there as for both of them. Okay, you see what happens. Now the average line is coming for both the economic impact and the infrastructure vulnerability. So let's come here to edit it. To edit it, we come to label. Let's custom it. We do the same as we did for the monthly temperature trends. We put average and then we want the value. So you can see here. So for the line, let's give the same line, right? And let's give the same red color. Yeah. So you can see the decimals are too much, right? So you can right click, you go to format, and then once we are here, the last one here, number, here you come here, and then let's go to number custom. It will naturally come here. So let's assign the display unit to billion, right? Because it is billions. When it is in terms of millions, it will show a lot of numbers. And then let's put only one decimals value. And let's put the dollar sign in the prefix like before the numbers. Okay. So let's go here as well. We give the this color to the average because we have started giving this color for the other average line. So let's give the same color for this average line. Always try to remain consistent in your coloring. Okay, so same here, we right click, we go to edit. We want the label to be custom, to have the average and then the value. Okay, so let's do the same thing. We right click, we go to edit. I forgot the line, sorry. So for the line, let's assign this line and we give a red color, right? So now let's right click again, we go to format. The format is already there, so we go to number. You see this number, let's click on it, the number custom. Let's reduce the decimal value to 1. Okay, we are good to go. So the average infrastructure vulnerability is up to 5.7. So let's also change everything, the color and okay. Okay, so now you can see there's a lot of empty things because the data actually starts from 35 billions. So let's right click on the axis. We go and edit the axis. We go to custom, right? We don't want to be from 0 to 35 billion because there's a lot of space. So let's remove this and put 24 billion. So it should start from 34 billions, right? It's a lot of money. Okay. So for the maximum, let's put 38 billions, right? So that everything can be seen quite easily. So I think let's format it, please. Let's go to format and then let's go to numbers. Let's bring again the display unit in billion so that now it is in millions, which is too much. Okay, now billions. Let's reduce the decimal value to 1. Okay, so let's add oh sorry, let's go back here. Okay, so now for this axis, for the infrastructure vulnerability, you see that it really starts from quite like 5. So there's a lot of empty. So let's go and edit it. We start from 5, right? And then let me shift this. And then it is 2 up. We don't want to be too high like this. You see it stop around 6, right? So let's put it like maybe 6, from 5 to 6. Okay, so I think it looks good already. um, so so let's go to data, right? Let's actually bring the what can we do? So I think what we can do is actually to bring this let's call it economic impact versus infrastructure. So from my observation, what I can say is that Montreal, Canada stand out with the highest economic impact, which is $37.8 billion. Wow. And 154 events, extreme weather events. So you can see that despite having a moderate infrastructure vulnerability score, which is 5.4, some cities like Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Perth, they exhibit higher than average vulnerability, which is 5.7 and plus. which indicates weaker infrastructure resilience. So you see that, however, the trend suggests that higher vulnerability does not always mean higher financial losses. You see, as some cities with moderate scores still face severe economic burdens. So, in my opinion, the takeaway is that while improving infrastructure resilience is crucial, other factors like population exposure, emergency preparedness, and climate adaptation also plays a significant role in mitigating economic damage. Let's bring the city. I don't know why the null, but okay, let's untick the null. So you see, they are all parts of the filters, right? So now what I do is I go to show filter, right? Now they are here. I also click here show filter. Okay. So if you select now a city or a country, you can see the chart changing automatically, right? So if you unselect any country, nothing will show, of course. So when you select only one country, for the city, you see only the cities from that countries. So here we can also try to analyze between US and India, you see. So that also requires some kind of analysis. So it's up to you. You can analyze it the way you want. So let's select a city. So when you select a city like Berlin, you can see actually, or maybe let's select two cities or three. So you can see actually the difference between each cities, right? So yeah. Let's put the count of extreme weather in the size, right? Let's put it in the size. You see, it has increased the bubble a little bit. Let's go to entire view so that we can see it very well. Okay, you see. So now this chart actually give us a lot of information, right? So if I remove the count of average extreme events, you can see the bubble size just reduces. But when I put the count of extreme weather events in the size, you see how it actually shows well. So please let's edit this. I forgot to put the color, my nice color. Let's put it semi bold 8 and then assign the nice color. Okay. So I think we are good to go. All our charts are there. So maybe what we can do is actually go to the filter here, right? So this is how we do to bring the filter. So to get the filter right now, so you see the two filters. Let me close this. I can bring more like objects, like more columns. So like the the climate zone, yes. Maybe I'm selecting everything, or you can click on all down here. So you can see the climate zone has come as the filter as well. So like the Baomi type, or let's put the climate zone classification, I'm sorry, the climate classification, and also the Baomi type. So what column can we use again for the filter? Let's bring the season, maybe the stakeholder we need to filter it by season. So what again? So now right click on the first one. You go to apply to worksheet. Make sure you click on all using this data set. Okay. So that means it is not only this chart that is going to change. And then you go to right click, you go to add to, you add it to context, right? You add it to context. Let's do the same for all the other filters. You right click, you go, you do the same thing. Okay. So let's right click, we go and apply to worksheet, all using this data set, and then we right click again, we add it to the context. So let's do the same for all the rest of the data, the filters. And the last one, season. all using this data source. Add to context. Okay, so you see the last one, it has applied, but the color is not changing because it is the last one actually. So what we should do, we should bring the date, but for the date we can do it later because we have the select month, which is actually different from this date. We do it later, please. So what we should rather do, let's go to now the dashboard. Now make sure you don't click on the the worksheet. This is the dashboard. So this is how the dashboard looks like. So here are the different sheets worksheet we have created here that we are simply going to drag and drop to the dashboard. So here are some of the objects that we can use, like blank text and everything. So look at the size of the dashboard. So let's change it to 1600, right, for the width, and then for the height let's put it at around 800. Okay, so this one is not static. I mean, it depends on people's. So let's tick on show dashboard title, right? So this is the dashboard title. You just tick it down here. So the name is climate change dashboard. So let's make it bold, and then we give this color, right? So and our title is good. So the next thing we should do is just to bring the worksheet. But before, let's bring this horizontal container. It means that what is going to come is going to be horizontal, but he has taken the whole sheet. So let's put a blank. Make sure it is highlighting the down part, right? You see, you can put it on the left and the top, but we want it at the down part, the bottom. So I've put in the blank. So the horizontal is at the top and the bottom is at the down. You can go to layout here and you can see our table, our dashboard. You can see the vertical container, the blank. So how come vertical container? Okay, so let me, I saw vertical container, is that? So okay, this is the blank and this is actually the, so let me delete this one. You see it is empty. I'm bringing the horizontal. Make sure to be here. If you don't make sure, okay, we are here. Okay, so we are good to go. So the next step is now to bring the KPIs. Let's try to reduce this one here, the bands. So let's start with maybe the temperature. We put the temperature here and you can drag it down a little bit like this. You see it has come. So let's also drag the temperature variability. Make sure you are at the corner of this horizontal container, please. So and then you drag it again, you continue putting it at the top, at the right, on the right. Let's bring everything, the precipitation intensity, the extreme, the air quality index, and then the extreme weather event. So everything is there. Our KPIs are there, our bands are there. But now this thing, you can just right click on them, you click on hide title. They are the title of the worksheet. So we can just highlight them. Okay, so now you see it is a little bit down, so let's drag it here to get space for our charts. Okay, so I will just push it as much as possible. When it cannot again, it will show me that it cannot. So I'm going to leave it where the maximum of where it can go. So you see, by default, the selected month, the parameter, the parameter also comes, right? So you can click on delete. So I've deleted the parameter. So you can click on this, like this dashboard, to see the dashboard clearly. You see how it's beautiful, and you can bring your cursor down. You see the same icon image here. You can click on it to come back to this window. So now let's bring our, no, sorry, before, let's bring another horizontal container, right? We put it at the top here because what was there down, it was the blank. So I'm putting an horizontal container again, and then I bring my temperature by country. So this title, I can just double click on this. I will not hide it. So I will change the title. I will give it like 11, 12 or what, 11. So I can give semi bold, Tableau semi bold. You see it has come well. So what we can do again, let's bring another chart, the monthly temperature trends. Let's make sure it comes on the right of this horizontal container, right? So let's change the title to 11 as well. The title, let's put it semi bold. So you see that to create the dashboard is simply drag and drop, because we have done all the most hard, the difficult parts already in the worksheet. Here we are just bringing all what we have done. So now I'm going to bring another horizontal container. I put it here so that what is on the right is just the blank, right? So now for this horizontal container, I'm going to bring the extreme weather event by season, right? So I'm also going to bring, maybe let me modify it. You just double click on the title to modify. You go to 11 and then semi bold. Okay. So let's also bring this right here, the extreme weather events by climate zone. So we want, since both charts are talking about extreme weather, I want them to be very close to one another. Okay. So yeah, I think when I reduce the title, I think it comes well. So let me put it at the middle. Okay, it looks good now, right? So this last one is now the blank we put. We can remove the blank. You see, if we remove this chart we stretched, right? So let's just bring the last chart, which is the economic impact versus infrastructure vulnerability. So let's make sure it is right at the middle, right? Tableau helps you to know when you are right at the middle. So for these two charts, I'm putting them together because they both talk about the extreme weather events. One is by season and the other is by climate zone. That is why they are together. So for the rest, each chart is independent. Okay. So it's not looking good, right? So these things like this, these legends. So it helps to see the dashboard, but we have added the label, so it is not that useful again, so we can just delete them, right? These legends. So now we are left with the filter. These filter are coming because we brought the worksheet that where we put our filter. So let's delete all those legends. So now we have our filter here. There are only two, right? So let's bring a vertical container, just a vertical. So let's put it here and then let's reduce the size a little bit. So we want the container to actually show there, not on the right. Maybe let's assume I decided to do that because I want to show you that how you can change the size of the location of the API. So the filter. So I'm bringing that column again. You see that worksheet again. It is automatically assigning the filter where I put the empty cells. Why are those filters coming when I select this worksheet? Is because I brought those filters when I was creating this particular worksheet. Okay, so you see, if you select by country, it is changing, right? Yeah, everything is changing. Okay, so just click on that cross to stop the filtering. So I can even delete it. Let me delete this. Let me delete the chart again. So you can, instead of removing, I can even go to this arrow. I go to filter and then I bring more filter, right? So I can bring the country. It has come as a filter. You see it came on the right because I did not put any container. So I put another filter, which is the city, right? Let's just keep adding. You can, it's not forced to be in this particular worksheet. Any worksheet, you just go to the arrow, you go to filter, and then you bring all the categorical columns that you want, right? So I'm bringing all of them. You see, they don't look really appealing, right? So you will click on the first one, you go to the arrow, and then you go to multiple values drop down. Multiple value, not single, the multiple one. So means that you can select multiple values at the same time, like this. If you go to single, that means you will only be allowed to select one country. So when you select one country, you move to another, you won't be able to select the other ones. So let's do the same here. We want it as multiple value drop down. Let's do the same for all the filters. Multiple values drop down. Okay. So you see there is free space down like this, which is quite weird. So what we can do, we can bring some blanks so that we will try to balance. Just put as many blanks as you can. I mean, no, not like from today to tomorrow. Just put like maybe five. Okay. So I think it's okay, maybe like this. So what I will do right now is I will click on the complete like container. To get that container, sometime it is quite complicated. This is the container. You click on the arrow, you go to distribute content, right? Distribute content eventually. So now it has distributed based on the blanks, right? So you can now delete your blanks. You see it now, like, I mean, it now mingle well with the container, right? So if I come to look at it like this, you see it is looking good, right? Wow, nice. Please put a thumbs up that you like the video, and please subscribe and comment. In the comments, what I really want to see is what is actually good in this project or what is bad, because I always try to ameliorate myself to best fit your needs. So please, if there's something that you think we should have done maybe differently, you should let me know. And if there's also something that you like in particular, you can let me know. So let's come back to this pie chart. Let's go to the one down. Let's reduce the size. It is too big, right? Let's also go to the one top here. We also reduce the size a little bit. Oh, not that. Okay, I think like this is okay. So you see, if we go to the dashboard, let's reduce it. It is because the label was difficult to see, right? Now it is actually simple, easy to see the label because the chart was too big. Now those like lines, how do we remove this? You just right click on them, you go to format, and then you can come to this square like this. Okay, so you come here, you make sure you are here, right? What? Okay, let me go back to format. Once you are here, it is rather, it is there. So you don't need to even click on that. So you can see it was there. What I was looking for was this one. So it was there. So you just click on none, right? So that is it. Let's right click, we go to format. This is what I was looking for. For the grid line you put no, for the zero line you put also no, right? You can see there is no grid line for this one. Now the square covering, like the framework, right? Let's right click, we go to format. Let's come here, and then you go to row drives. This one, for the rows, is going to remove it. Also for the columns, it also removes it, right? So when we go to our pie chart, you see it looks cleaner and better. So we can also do the same. You see the temperature by country is also showing that frame. So what we can do, you can just, since we are already here, so just come here to this. For the rows, you put none. We don't want the rows, the line that we come for the rows. Same for the columns. Okay, now it looks neat. Okay, so what else? So let's now bring the icon, right, to show what our dashboard is about. If I try to bring like an image, you see it is not coming. It is because this is the default dashboard title, right? So let's delete it. We can just click here and then it is gone. Now let's bring our image top here. Make sure you are at the top, right? So it is asking you to select the image. I've already downloaded images. I will put them in the description as well. So put that it should fit. But if you put center, it will bring it at the center, but we don't want it at the center. We want it to be on the left, top left. Okay. So let's reduce the size a little bit. You see, looks good, right? Everything is like big. So let's bring a text now. Let's put the text here. Make sure that you are at the right, on the right, sorry. And then let's paste our climate change that I've copied when I went to see the dashboard. So you can also rewrite it if you do not copy. You can write climate change. You put all these changes. Okay. So let's bring this to the left. Okay, it looks good, right? I mean, in my opinion, it looks good. So let's also reduce this one. It is a little bit too up. You see this one, too down. Okay. For this one, it's not easy to get like the containers that you can drag easily, guy. So it is even the secret to actually get it fast, like at a glance. This thing is not even centered. Uh, help. Okay, okay. No. Help, help. Somebody help me. I'm not able to actually hold the two bands of the down, the two containers of the extreme weather. Okay, I got it. Okay, at long last, the battle has ended. Okay, so everything looks neat. So if you visualize it again, you can see how the dashboard looks appealing and it is conveying all the necessary information. You can select by Biomi type. I don't know if we call it Biomi type or Biomi. Yeah, sorry for dear English teachers for breaking your English like that. So yeah, so let's you can click on that same dashboard icon to come back to this window. So what you can do is you see it is the band is too down or it is okay. So what I want is to put it exactly where, I mean, it won't take too much space. Okay. So let's now bring the date, right? I am bringing the date. So I want the year. Let's start with the year, just the year. I select all to give the possibility to select all. We right click, we go to apply to worksheet, all using this data source, and then we add to context, right? So now let's bring the date again. Now let's bring the month. So these are all the months of the year. Okay, let's do the same thing. We right click, we go to apply to worksheet, all file using the source data source. So let's add it to the context. Okay, so now when we come back here, you won't be able to see the filter here, right? So you can click on any chart, you go to filter here, and then we can bring our year to date. This is it. And we can also bring our month to date, month of date, I'm sorry. Well, you can see it is not fitting well like the rest of the chart actually, of the filters actually. So let's just remove the blanks and then let's bring them back again. You see, for the top one, the first one, they are okay, right? So I'm coming here and then I go to this arrow. I will put distribute content eventually, right? So now it is okay. So I can now bring it as multiple values drop down. Same for the month of year. Okay. So I think it looks okay. I can just, because there is free space, there's empty space at the bottom, so I can just like drag these things like down a little bit so that it can actually try to cover the whole container, right? Else it might looks like there's something missing. Anyway, I think it's okay. So if you select the year, for instance 2024, you can see only the value for 2024, same for 2025. So if I select the month, look at what happened. Everything is changing, right? So if I select March, for instance, it won't show the versus last month because it is only 1 month that you have selected. But even if you select 2 months, the month should be like current and previous, right? Okay. So it is quite difficult to actually, yeah. So you can double click on the name country to change it. So I'm going to assign this color to be consistent with the coloring, right? So same here, you just double click on the name, yeah, like this. I will center it, right? So let me also center the first one. Okay. So classification, climate classification. So let's give it 8 and semi bold. Okay. So same for climate zone. So we just give it like we maintain the same 9. I'm sorry, I said 8 for the previous one. It is 9. And then we just do the same thing for all the rest of the filters. You double click and then it comes. You put semi bold. You leave it at 9, and then you put the color and you center. It looks good, right? So if you go and view it like a presentation, you see it looks very good. So the dashboard is filterable from by country. You can also even write the name. As long as the spelling is correct, it will show if there is that value in the data, in the filter. So like let's take for instance Canada. So if I write Canada, you see Canada data will come, right? So let me select also Germany, India, South Africa, or select all, right? So for the cities, the same thing. You can select each city and see the data for that particular city. This null value is in the Canada uh, part. Okay, so this is just to show how we can filter the dashboard, right? So it's completely dynamic. Okay, so let's do something. Let's come back. So what do we do? Look at you. You can click on one. You come here. This filter. Just tick it everywhere. Just click on each chart and then you tick it. What it does is that now when you are going to filter one, everything will be filtered by what you are clicking, right? So you just click here, you will see how it comes. So to change, to remove the clicking, you just click where you have clicked. You just double click there. Okay, so is there anything that you think we might change? Because in my opinion, maybe so let's come to file. We go to save, right? Let's click on save to Tableau. This is how we are now going to publish the dashboard. We are saving it to Tableau. So despite let's say that you don't have a Tableau account, let's go to create an account. So we are going to create an account. You put your details, please. But for this one, the email address, really put a valid email address that you have access to, because you are going to be sent they are going to send you like a confirmation email where you have to click on it in order to open your or confirm your Tableau account. So I'm putting the email of the YouTube channel. Okay, so now I can click on create. So now what happened is everything is set. What I have to do is they are saying thank you for registering. You will receive an email containing a link, right? So I've opened my email. This is the link, the message that they have sent. They asked me to click here to confirm my account. So I just click here, and then congratulations, your Tableau account has been created. Okay, so here in this Tableau account, you can go through people's dashboard to actually get inspiration from, so let's go back to file. We go to save to Tableau again, because now we now have a Tableau account. So let's put our email address. But of course, for yours, put your own email address, and then the password. So I can just click in on sign in. Okay. So it is asking me select your country or region. So I can just put any country. Here it doesn't matter the country you select. Let me select maybe Ghana, right? So I'm ticking the agree button box. So I click complete signing, right? Now what is happening is that Tableau is now publishing your dashboard to the web, where you will be able to just use the link to access this Tableau dashboard. Okay, so you see now Tableau has opened the my account. You see the account that we have created. It has opened it, and then it Tableau stored the dashboard inside that data professionals account. So this is now the dashboard saved and published online, where anybody can access this from the link. So in company, what's happened is that once you have created a dashboard, you publish it, you now just share the links to the managers. The managers should be able to access your dashboard through the link, right? So you can see everything remains dynamic. It's not like the dynamism reduces, no. So everything is still interactive and dynamic. So you can click here, make a copy here, or you can click on share. You see, I go to share. This is actually the link that I have copied. So this is the link you have to use. Look at, if I paste it in a new browser, you see it automatically opened the dashboard, right? So this is the link that you are going to send to the client or the manager, or if maybe you have decided that I should create a project for you, or you want this particular project, this is the link I'm going to send you. But of course, I will modify the dashboard to look different from this. So you can go here and click on save. It's going to save it as in your local machine. Please do that. So you go to file and you click on save. So when we open the dashboard very well, you can see everything is good, right? In my opinion, everything is very good. So if there is anything you think we should have done differently, kindly put it in the comments, so that next time I can start implementing what your suggestion, and then best meet your needs. Okay. So the dashboard is having the bands showing all the key metrics. It is having the temperature by country, where we can see the average temperature for each country, and also the monthly temperature trends. So how does the average temperature goes over time? So you see that there's something we can change, because when we select one month, let's select the month, maybe December, you see nothing shows, right? Even when you select 2 months, nothing shows as the band or the percentage difference, right? So it's because they are not actually connected to our percentage difference. What is connected to the percentage difference is the select current month, is the month, select month. So what we can do, you see, this is our select month, right? So let's select any chart like this one. Let's delete it. Let's go back to our worksheet. This is it here. So let's show the parameter. Yes. So this is the parameter. You see that that value we were seeing in the band was actually for only January, right? This everything you see here is only for January. So let's bring our chart back again. You see, it automatically come with a select month. So you can drag it to the top like this and bring it top. Okay. So now what happened is that you are going to select the current month, and you see, when you select the current month, you can see the percentage difference working very well, but all the chart is not working. So if we connect it to the chart, it is going to give us plenty error. I have tried, and then I can tell you that the best thing I found was that we should have one slicer for the selected month and one other for the month. You can see here now, when you select 2 months consecutively like this, 1 2, what, anyway, this I try to actually connect the the bandwidth, the dashboard, but it came with plenty errors. Why? Because the dashboard is showing all the values, meanwhile we want the percentage difference, right? So the percentage difference means we should have a current month and a previous month. So it is impossible to like have an overview of the overall temperature, average temperature for the whole dashboard without using the select month. I hope you get the point, please. So instead of select month, I will spell it current month, right? So this one is to show to the viewers that this is the current month data he is actually viewing, right? And now if you want to select by month, there's the month filter down. So you get the point. So now this dashboard help us to see that, okay, so if I select a month, I see the value for the month, right? If I select another month, I see the values for another month, right? But if I want to like viewing only the selected month, I use the current month. So this dashboard now help us to see. So let's stress this a little bit. Okay. So now, in my opinion, the dashboard is complete and well done. Thank you very much. In my opinion, everything looks neat. Please kindly subscribe to the channel so that we can grow this data analytics channel. Please put in the comments what you think we should change or what you like the most. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.